All right, let's go to headline number 5. Amazon has started reducing the number of items it sells under its own brands, and the company has even discussed the possibility of exiting the private label business entirely to alleviate regulatory pressure. As Jonathan inferred earlier. All right, according to Wall Street Journal, the decision to scale back the house brands resulted partly from disappointing sales for many of those items. And also comes as Amazon has faced criticism in recent years from lawmakers and others that it sometimes gives advantages to its own brands at the expense of products sold by other vendors on its site. Executives discussed reducing Amazon private label assortment in the US by well over half, a source told the Journal, at the urging of Dave Clark, the longtime Amazon executive who took over as head of its global consumer business in January 2021 and who left his role just last month. After a version of the Wall Street Journal article published online, Amazon said in a statement that, quote, "We never seriously considered closing our private label business, and we continue to invest in this area, just as our many retail competitors have done for decades and continue to do today," end quote. Heyman, what's your take on this one?
It's surprising. We talked about this earlier on the show about Kroger and their new loyalty program and how part of the benefits of the loyalty program and the membership are deeper discounts on their private label. Retailers are conditioned to drive volume to private label. We all know why. It's a higher gross margin category. You typically, depending on the category, gain anywhere between 500 to 800 basis points of profit margin by moving from a national brand to a private brand. So it is surprising that they are moving away from it. It is a very core part of retail, right? And it's not that the industry as a whole is moving away from private label. In fact, emphasis on private label continues to be high. I think there was a little bit of a shift to national brands that were more trusted during the pandemic because that was kind of consumer sentiment around that. So I'm surprised. I have a feeling this is more driven by poor execution. I don't know if any of you have shopped any of their private label products. I have across a few different categories, and there's a marked difference in packaging, product quality, and it was not very deeply discounted in my mind versus national brands either. So I think this is more a scaling back on one of the things that Amazon probably did not execute well, and they execute most things well. So I think it's more that than a industry trend.
Right, than them really truly scaling back because they think that's what the right move is here. Jonathan, what do you have to say about this one?
So a couple of things. First of all, my cynical side is that they've got 240,000 plus private label SKUs, so they've got a bit of scope to play with and say that they're reducing their SKU count.
Right.
The other thing I was going to say is, if you're a supplier to Amazon listening to this and you're thinking, great, they're going to exit private label, the only thing I'd say is be very careful what you wish for, because what they'll then want to do is protect the entry point in the price architecture, and the pressure on MAP will only increase because they will no longer have private label to protect that entry point in the architecture, and it will be their other vendors who have to fulfill it. So just be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, Jonathan and Heyman, I completely agree with you. I mean, those are the 2 points that I saw when reading this too. Like, is it really truly because, they're trying to reduce private label brands? Is it because the production costs, they have in excess products that they're selling that they don't really need? And most importantly, they hold the keys to how much they're going to take from all of the retailers who are selling the same product. So if it's not worth it for Amazon to produce that product anymore, and they can increase, instead of 45% of the sale, they're taking 50% of the sale, and it has more revenue coming in than time and resources going out. It's so easy for them to just adjust that lever. But Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything everyone said. The point I would make, though, that I think is important is I just think the story's bad. Like, I just think it's bad journalism on the part of the Wall Street Journal, again, which we critiqued I think it was like a month or 2 ago too. Like, if as a journalist, you look at the language that's used to tell this story, Amazon considered cutting back their private labels. Well, like I've considered many things in my life, and like buying a sports car or dating a supermodel, but I'm about as far away from doing either of those things as humanly possible. So like, yeah, maybe they considered it in a boardroom discussion, but that doesn't mean they're going to do it. And so to me, it's like you guys said, they're just rationalizing it, which every retailer does at every point in time. It's a continuous process that they're always doing. So to me, this is a non-story, plain and simple, made to look like a story by a journalist that wanted the clicks. And I hate to say it, but it's true.